This wasn't just a leak, this was a calculated detonation, one that exposed a story so messy, so contradictory, it threatens to collapse everything Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have tried to build.
Prince Harry has just lost the plot. I know a lot of you will think that happened a long time ago, but this is the height of insanity.
It behoves William and Catherine to make sure that he feels, they can bring him along slowly. And involved in the armed forces is a perfect way to do that.
Prince William has stepped over Prince Harry, over the royal rota, and he's doing it as he wants to. He's doing media on his terms.
As we've seen, nothing about them is unique. Nothing about them is inherently interesting, with the exception of his family.
Harry will not receive enhanced security for his upcoming trip to the UK next month, raising fresh questions about whether Meghan Markle, Archie and Lily will ultimately accompany him. The Royal and VIP Executive Committee, RAVIC, has declined requests for additional protection just days before Harry is scheduled to return to Britain for a series of engagements.
So we have members of the royal family, quite clearly. She was just recently outside of the royal box at Wimbledon, going to other places as well, which we may discuss later. Point is, other members of the royal family are willing to take more risks with their lives. They are outside of the royal family. We have this excuse that they can't come to the UK because of the security threat.
This hasn't been leaked by the government, okay? This has been leaked directly from Prince Harry and his team to Chris Shipp at Woke ITV.
The moment that clip surfaced, the narrative cracked wide open, because suddenly this wasn't about security anymore. It was about control, about image, about a man watching his own story spiral out of his hands. Prince Harry didn't just step away from the institution, he walked straight into a storm he couldn't contain. And now, every move feels like damage control disguised as desperation. Look at the pattern. Prince Harry announces plans, then hesitation, then pressure, then a leak, always a leak. And not just any leak information conveniently framed to push one message: danger, urgency, entitlement. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask out loud. If the threat is real, why does everything about this feel staged?
The madman, and I really do mean that, has leaked his own security report, which he had previously submitted to the government to try and get you, to try and get me, British taxpayers, to spend millions and millions of pounds a year to ensure that he has armed guards wherever he goes in the world.
Because while the headlines scream about motorcades and security protocols, something else is being drowned out. The Invictus Games, the very project Prince Harry once called his life's mission. The veterans, the sacrifices, the purpose. And yet somehow their moment has been hijacked by a narrative that keeps circling back to one thing what Prince Harry wants. And that contradiction, it's impossible to ignore. For weeks, the story has been drip-fed. Will Meghan Markle come? Will Archie and Lily be there? Is it safe? Is it not? Every headline pulling focus away from the one event that was supposed to matter most. And the public noticed. They didn't just notice, they reacted loudly, because what they heard wasn't concern. They heard leverage.
And all the drip feeding coming out, going to see the grave of Diana, going to Invictus. Meghan might make some public appearances, but probably won't with the children. Where they're going to stay. And then you get the story, well, now they may not come because he's not happy with the security arrangements.
That single moment lands like a quiet accusation. Because when you strip away the language, the messaging, the carefully constructed narrative, what's left? A demand. Show up on my terms, or I don't show up at all. And suddenly, the question shifts. Not is he in danger, but what is he trying to gain?
If there is a specific threat, like a terror threat, security will immediately be provided. Because Harry's team keep on trying to say this line, Rafe, and it's not true. This is the problem. They just lie through their teeth. It makes me sick that journalists just swallow it. They keep saying, oh, Taylor Swift gets security when she comes to the UK. No.
And that's where Catherine enters the picture, not loudly, not dramatically, but with a contrast so sharp it almost feels intentional. Catherine doesn't negotiate her duty. Catherine doesn't weaponize appearances. Catherine shows up quietly, consistently, without conditions. And that difference, it's becoming impossible to ignore. Then comes the document, the 40-page report, the one that was supposed to settle everything.
Harry coming over to support things that are close to his heart, Meghan coming over, but we get this sideshow of what's going on. Will he, won't he, where's she going, where are they staying? It's just so unedifying and frustrating, I think, for all and sundry. And
on paper, it's explosive. Terror plots, assassination threats, hundreds of potential stalkers, a narrative so extreme it demands immediate action. But then you look closer. You follow the thread back to its origin, and suddenly the question changes again. Who paid for it? Because when Prince Harry commissions a private firm, funds it, and then that same report appears in the media within days, it doesn't just raise eyebrows, it raises doubts. Serious ones. And the government's response? Silence, not urgency, not alarm, not even a discussion.
She's on court 18, I think, Rafe, if you know Wimbledon. And look, people are passing behind her. Do you see that? And as Royally Sage put it, she's sitting there where people can walk by without drama, about security. This is the future Queen of England. And so Harry is trying to create a dire situation here.
Nothing, that moment, just a phone number, is louder than any headline. Because if the threat was real, there would be action. Immediate, undeniable action. But there wasn't. And that absence, it tells a story all on its own. So now the contradictions start stacking. If the danger is real, why bring Archie and Lily into it? Why announce travel plans publicly? Why release details that would put them at risk? No parent does that. No parent willingly exposes their children to known threats, which leaves only two possibilities, and both of them are uncomfortable. Either the danger isn't what it's being portrayed as, or something else is driving this entirely. And then comes the detail that shattered credibility completely. Buried inside that report, one of the so-called threats. A woman, identified, framed as dangerous, until someone recognized her, not a terrorist, a fan, a devoted supporter. And just like that, the entire structure starts to wobble. Because if one piece is exaggerated, what about the rest? Now layer in the travel history. Prince Harry has been to Ukraine, Colombia, Nigeria, places with documented real-world risks. And yet, those trips happened without this level of panic, without this level of resistance. So why is the UK suddenly the most dangerous place on earth? That question doesn't go away. It grows. And then it turns into something bigger. Because this isn't just about security. It's about status, about control over narrative, about being the one who decides how the story is told. In other countries, Prince Harry arrives as a figure of importance. In the UK, he returns as someone asking for something. And that shift, it changes everything. Because for the first time, Prince Harry isn't setting the terms, he's reacting to them. And that's where the tension really begins. Because behind every headline, every leak, every carefully timed report, there's a deeper question forming. One that refuses to stay buried. Is this really about safety? Or is it about something far more personal? Something far more calculated? Something that hasn't fully revealed itself yet. Because the deeper you go into this story, the less it looks like fear and the more it looks like strategy. Prince Harry isn't just reacting anymore. Prince Harry is orchestrating. Meghan Markle isn't just observing. Meghan Markle is influencing. And the cracks, they're no longer subtle. They're everywhere. Look at the timeline again. The leaks, the headlines, the pressure. Prince Harry announces danger. Meghan Markle remains uncertain. Archie and Lily become part of the narrative. And suddenly the entire country is asking the same question. What is actually real here? Because when Prince Harry says the UK is unsafe, but Prince Harry previously traveled to Ukraine, Colombia, and Nigeria without hesitation, the contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. Meghan Markle stood beside Prince Harry in those countries. Meghan Markle appeared publicly. Meghan Markle didn't demand a motorcade then. So why now? And that's where Catherine changes everything. Catherine doesn't speak into the chaos. Catherine doesn't respond to Prince Harry. Catherine doesn't engage Meghan Markle. Catherine simply appears at Wimbledon, in public, unguarded, visible. Catherine walks into spaces where anyone can approach, where anyone can stand behind her, where anyone can observe her. And Catherine does it without conditions, without demands, without a 40-page report. That contrast isn't subtle. That contrast is devastating. Because if Catherine can sit in a crowd, if Catherine can walk through open spaces, if Catherine can continue duty without fear, then what exactly is Prince Harry claiming? And more importantly, why? The answer starts to form when you follow the reactions. Not from the palace, not from the government, from the public, from the comments, from the people watching this unfold in real time, because they notice something else, something deeper, the emotional pressure. Prince Harry brings Archie and Lily into the conversation. Meghan Markle's presence becomes conditional. The message becomes clear without being spoken. If security isn't granted, the family doesn't come. And suddenly, this isn't about safety. This is about leverage, emotional leverage, institutional leverage, public leverage. And the institutions, they didn't budge. The government didn't escalate. The palace didn't intervene. intervene. King Charles didn't override. Prince William didn't mediate. Catherine didn't defend. Every single layer of the system responded the same way with silence. And that silence, it wasn't confusion. It was clarity. Because when everyone says no without even arguing, that's not a debate. That's a conclusion. And then Prince William shifts the entire narrative without even mentioning Prince Harry or Meghan Markle. Prince William steps into a podcast. Prince William speaks directly, casually, openly. Prince William connects with millions without tension, without drama, without demands. And in that moment, the contrast becomes undeniable. Prince William builds. Prince Harry fights. Meghan Markle calculates. Catherine serves. 4 different approaches. One public watching all of it unfold. And then the smaller details start to feel louder than anything else. The staff who left Arcuel. The neighbors in Montecito. The whispers about Meghan Markle scanning rooms for influence. The quiet comments about Prince Harry becoming something unrecognizable. These aren't isolated moments. They're patterns. Patterns that point to something deeper, something uncomfortable. Because this isn't just a public breakdown, this is a shift in identity. Prince Harry once stood inside the institution. Prince Harry had structure. Prince Harry had purpose. Prince Harry had automatic significance. But outside of that system, Prince Harry has to create it. Meghan Markle has to maintain it. And when that identity feels threatened, the response isn't silence. The response is escalation. More headlines, more pressure, more demands. But here's the part that changes everything. The institution didn't react. Not King Charles, not Prince William, not Catherine, not the government, not even the committees responsible for security. No reassessment, no emergency meeting, no acknowledgement of urgency, just a phone number, just distance, just quiet detachment. And that silence exposes the truth more than any document ever could. Because if the threat was real, the system would have moved. It would have had to move. Legally, structurally, publicly, but it didn't. And that means one thing the story being told by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle isn't the story being believed by the people who actually decide. And that leaves one final question hanging in the air, unanswered, unresolved, and impossible to ignore. If Prince Harry and Meghan Markle pushed this narrative this far, if Archie and Lily became part of the pressure, if the Invictus Games were pulled into the chaos, then what happens next when even that doesn't work? Because the phones have already stopped ringing, the doors have already closed, and the silence from King Charles, Prince William, and Catherine isn't temporary. It feels permanent. And if that's true, then this story isn't reaching its peak. It's just getting started.